Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Oner podcast, the podcast where we review and break down films all in one big, long, unbroken take. I'm Austin Archer, and I am in the same room as my co-host,
Kramer England.
We're here again in your basement.
Yep, you can see my treadmill.
Yep, that's your.
Right,
that's your. You walking on that thing? You getting your reps in? You getting your?
No, I do the bike.
Oh, that's probably even better for you.
Yeah, I like the bike. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's easier on the knees.
I've been a walking boy lately. I walk like
I
walk like 10 to 12,000 steps a day lately. Yeah.
Dude, I sit way too much. I need to walk more.
I like my walking.
That's good. Walking is really good.
Yeah, I keep getting breakdowns as an actor for the fat guy, and I like growing up, I always thought that like when I would watch movies, I'd be like in this movie, we're talking about the Two Towers today.
Yes,
Peter Jackson's classic Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, why have you not seen this movie?
But like when Smeagol calls Sam fat. I'm like, I wonder if that hurt Sean Astin's feelings. You know,
I know.
Like growing up, I would always think like when there's an actor that everyone has to be like, this guy's really ugly or this guy's really fat.
Yeah, I wondered that too.
And lately, like the last few years in my acting career, I keep getting breakdowns that are like, he's really fat, he's really big, like he's a really fat guy, and I'm like, okay, all right. And it's like I used to get like ugly or weird, like weird vibes, skeevy vibes. And I was okay with that. I was like, yeah, I'm a character actor. I can like put on I can like act like off-putting.
Right.
But I have a harder time when like I got a breakdown that was like, think John Wayne Gacy, but bigger. And John Wayne Gacy's like 400 pounds.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was like,
I don't know
I was
if
like,
I
I
can do
weigh
that.
190. I was like, and I like called my agent. I was like, hey, listen, I was like, I know that I've gained some weight in the last few years, but like, I think I'm like 200 pounds off of what this description is asking for. But anyway, I was that's why I do my steps now, because
That's good.
But
steps in.
I just booked this film and like it didn't say it in the audition. I should have known. It said think like he's like a John Goodman type, and I and I was like okay and then I did it, and then I read the script. Like I booked it and they sent me the script, and I was reading the script and like all my scenes are like I love food. And I was like, okay, all right.
I get it, guys. I get it.
Okay, John Goodman type. Got it.
Yeah.
So I'm walking 10 to 12,000 steps a day.
That's good. That's better than I do. But I try to bike, but oh well.
And there's a lot of walking in this movie.
There is. There's a lot of walking.
In these movies in general. They're on their feet and moving for most of them.
I feel like in The Hobbit, there was a lot of unnecessary walking. A lot of the walking in this movie is like, they got to get here to there, or they're kind of jogging and like, but in The Hobbit, I was like, why are we watching them walking for so long?
Yeah. Let's jump right into it. I mean, I love the way that this movie opens. I love, especially because we just did Fellowship of the Ring. If you want to hear our breakdown on Fellowship of the Ring, we just did it a few weeks ago. It's on the channel now.
Yep.
I love this. I love these opening shots of these snowy mountains. Just immediately, beautiful. The landscapes in New Zealand in this movie are just so stunning.
My mother-in-law came home from New Zealand, and she went to the Hobbit village, right? Mm-hmm. And anyway, so when I watched this with my boys, and I was like, "Hey, Grandma was just there," and like. It's so beautiful. And she's not a big fan of the movies, which is fine. Yeah. But I was so jealous because I was just like, I really want to go to New Zealand and see all these locations. It's crazy how beautiful it is.
Oh, but I also love that like just no time is wasted. It's just like, all right, here we go. And we do a little bit of like we get a little tease that Gandalf may not have perished the way that we thought. We see a little bit more, which like right off the bat, this movie's just firing full blast at this crazy sequence of Ian McKellen falling forever.
And he like grabs the sword and like, I
just love this like old guy like falling and like I remember as a kid watching this movie and the idea of like, in a fantasy realm, the idea of like a never-ending pit was always kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And this felt like this pit was just like, oh, they're just falling endlessly.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it seems like that for a while. But then I also love this slow motion shot of the cavern that they fall out
They
of.
fall down and it lights it up. And it looks beautiful.
Like,
I don't know how they got back on a mountain. And even my sons were like, how did they get up there? And I was like, magic.
yeah, like when we catch back up with White Gandalf later on, and he explains what happened, it's like he's like, I fought him in the deepest pits and the highest. It's like, well, but like, wait, but what happened between?
Yeah, like you were in the pit. How did you, what happened?
It's kind of funny to imagine Ian McKellen and the Balrog just sort of fighting like from the deepest, darkest pit and just sort of like hiking all the way up a mountain and just, sort of like just slowly making their way up this mountain. And it's like, he's really holding his own with this giant fire beast for a long time. Like, you know,
I didn't get it, but
it's but I do like that it's sort of like the implication is that it almost seems like everything that happens with Ian McKellen and the Balrog happens like outside of space-time.
It does. It seems, that's why I said magic, because it's like very mystical. Like we were just fighting, and then maybe all of a sudden we were here, and we didn't know how. It's just, it works somehow. I don't get it, but it does work.
Well, it's like in the timeline of the continuity of the films.
Yeah.
Gandalf, by the time Gandalf the White shows up and talks to Aragorn and Gimli and Legolas in Fangorn Forest, it's been like a week, maybe 10 days since he died. Right. Because Gimli says at the beginning of the film, 3 days pursuit and no...
Right.
You know, so they've been running for 72 hours after Merry and Pippin from the end of the film. And then it's like another 2 or 3 days more, I think, till they get to Fangorn Forest, maybe.
Yeah.
And so it's like, at most a week that Gandalf's been gone. But the way that he describes what happened to him is like almost like he was fighting the Balrog for like 5 of those days, like just 5 days straight. And then as he sort of like dies, he just passes into this like timeless abyss.
Yeah. Because he doesn't even remember him.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yes, Gandalf.
Yeah.
That's what they used to call me.
Yeah.
Gandalf the Grey, right? Like, it's like, you don't remember who
It's weird that he tells the story and then he's like, oh, yes, of course. Yeah. It's like, you were just talking about when you were Gandalf the Grey.
That's the end of your life, right?
Yeah. You were telling us the story of the last time we saw you. Yeah. Do you not remember that you were a different guy?
I know. I swear, I feel like I remember from the books that, like, it explained that whole scenario a lot better. And I swear it was a lot longer. And if anybody knows, let us know, because I can't, like, I read these when I was like in 8th grade or whatever, and it's like, I swear it was a lot longer of a time period, and it was explained more, but they did a good enough job in here, but the timeline does seem very compressed, like, oh yeah, they're really only gone for a few days, like maybe a week.
Well, that's a good way into saying, like, first of all, everyone chill, okay? These movies are all masterpieces. It's a masterful trilogy. They're incredible.
Yeah.
But we gave 10s across the board for Fellowship. Like, kind of a movie that it's like whatever flaws you could find.
Sorry, I just took a drink and spilled a little.
At least you can't really see it. It's out of the shot.
You can see it
it's
now.
A little bit.
That's very bad.
For if you're just listening to the show, Kramer just spilled water on himself.
Sorry. Anyway, continue on.
No, but like, it's like whatever flaws you could find, whatever nitpicks you could find with Fellowship, the film seems to more than make up for it by the end.
Yes. And
watching this one, I had a little bit of a different experience, and that's why I gotta like prep everyone to be like, I love these movies. I love all 3 of them. This movie's awesome. But I found myself getting a little more nitpicky with little things that I was like I actually think that some of the ways that they choose to adapt the book to the film in Fellowship really help the story and improve. Right. We talked about some of those ways in that episode. But there are some things here that like the Gandalf thing that you just kind of have to go like, sure. And again, I think they do a good enough job to make me go, I'm with you. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. He's Gandalf
Yeah.
the White now. It's very like video game XP. It's like he defeated a really powerful foe, and his XP leveled up. You know, but I think if you think too much about it, it's just sort of like, why does he not remember being what's the cosmology of this? But the thing that I was actually more nitpicky on this time is the fact that the film is called The Two Towers. Yeah. And I do believe that the book focuses more on the story being about this union between Isengard and Mordor.
Right.
And it's not that it's not present in the film. It's just that it's like, it feels like it's a thing that they have Christopher Lee mention to be like, that's why the movie's called The Two Towers. But this movie feels like it should be called The Battle of Helm's Deep, or like the Horse Lords of the Rohirrim, or like
the Battle of Helm's Deep would almost be more appropriate for this movie, because it is like the Two Towers is kind of, I mean, in the Fellowship of the Ring, it was already established that like he's with Sauron. Sauron and Sauron are together. So that was really established. And then this one, they're
dating each other. They're together.
They're together.
They're an item.
And then in this one, it's like he kind of like reiterates it, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, like I knew that.
Exactly.
So
it's
kind like, of but you don't want to change that, because I get why they kept the name, because I think, honestly, if I'm remembering right, I think they thought about changing it to a different name, but they ultimately were like, no, we've just got to keep it to what they had. I think I could be totally wrong on that. But.
Well, it's interesting. I was thinking about like the naming of famous trilogies, and how I wonder if George Lucas consciously or subconsciously did this, but the way it's like Good, Bad, Good title wise, that it's like A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back. So it's like good guys, A New Hope, bad guys, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, good guys, Fellowship of the Ring, good guys, Two Towers, bad guys,
Return of the
King, good guys. And obviously Lord of the Rings came first, and the Return of is like, are you like that's
are you referencing
return?
That?
Yeah,
is
you
that,
know.
Yeah, is this
but then it's also like Phantom Menace. Well, I guess it's all bad. Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith is all bad.
It's
which
true.
Fittingly, those movies are all bad. So those are 3 bad movies. Yeah. But I was also thinking like Dark Knight, like Batman Begins.
Yeah.
Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight Rises. Yeah.
You know, so like the darkness of the
second piece.
I had a friend in college who would always say that he thought the third film in that trilogy should have been called The Caped Crusader, and I was like, I like that.
I hear that. I thought they were going to call it Gotham City, and I actually really like that one too.
Yeah.
Or something with Gotham.
Yeah.
Because it takes so much of it is around Gotham City. But yeah, The Dark Knight Rises, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I love that trilogy.
Yeah.
But I think I wish they wouldn't have called it that.
It feels like they're cashing in on the success of The Dark Knight. Because it's like, okay, cool. Batman Begins.
Yeah.
The Dark Knight, we see like the problem with the persona of Batman, what he introduces and what he opens up Gotham to.
It's thematically so fitting.
Right. And then it's like, cool, what else is there to this persona? Yeah. There's Batman, there's the Dark Knight. What's the other moniker?
Yeah, that actually would have been really cool.
Yeah.
I really like that one.
Yeah.
I guess we could talk about it more.
Yeah.
Maybe we should get back to the Two Towers.
Anyway,
that's a good point, though. I have thought about that a lot.
Yeah. I was thinking about that in the context of like good guys, bad guys, good. And I think that the book focuses more on this sort of dyad power of these towers. And like, and there's one monologue we get from Christopher Lee where he's like, who now has the power to stand against the might of the, you know.
Yeah. Careful. We're having trouble
We're having
tonight.
A terrible time.
Do you need some water?
I got water right here.
Water? Okay.
But like you said, we already know that from the first film.
It works and also the books leave off at different points like than the movies do. You know, like they actually break at different points. And I just remember that the Two Towers seemed more fitting for the book, but it's honestly such a small thing, not a big deal.
It's and it's like the whole thing of like Sauron building his army, and it's like, again, we already established they show it in the Two Towers like it's a revelation in the narrative.
Yeah,
like look what Isengard has become.
Yeah, I was like, we saw this. Wasn't this from the first movie? Like,
and so but because it's like they have to have it in there.
Yeah,
because of the title of the film.
Yeah,
and that's why I'm getting really nitpicky here, because again, everybody, we love these movies. These But it was there's that stuff, and then I will say, and this is going to sound like utter sacrilege. I talked about this a little bit with Fellowship, and this is one of those things where I was like, I could get nitpicky if I want, but then the movie more than makes up for it.
Right.
Is sometimes, and like I love these characters, they're so cool, but sometimes the way that Legolas and Gimli and Aragorn move through action sequences is like frustratingly. Like just nothing can touch these three characters, and it's in this movie, like Aragorn has a really bad spill, but like he's like, by the time he like rides his horse back to Helm's Deep, he's like ready to go again. And as impressive of a set piece as the Battle of Helm's Deep is, the way that those three characters just sort of like move like they have an impenetrable orb around them of like sometimes the suspension of disbelief, it just feels like, and I get that it's what's supposed to be in this world is like they are three of the greatest warriors in Middle Earth, right? But they seem supernatural, which with Legolas I get there's like an extra element of like elves but all these other elves show up to fight. Yeah. And it's like, what's so special about Legolas? And I get that also Aragorn like has like a little bit of elf magic from Arwen, that she's like giving him like some blessings and stuff. Yeah. But I'm just like, but does Gimli have that too? Or is it, it's just, there's elements of it that are pushing the silliness almost sometimes, like the sequence when Aragorn and Gimli, when he throws him onto the bridge and then he jumps on after him, and I like it. Yes. It's just, it's like it's pressing right up against silly.
That's what I was gonna say, is when he throws him over, which is funny. That little exchange, like, don't tell the oaf, right? Like, that's really funny. But he throws him over. I was like, there's like 1,000 guys that you have to kill, like just on that bridge. Like, I understand you have an advantage. It's not a narrow thing, but like there's two of you and there's literally hundreds of them.
Well, and it's the reason why I have a little bit of a hard time with it. Yeah, is because the films constantly take time to remind the audience of the stakes and the threat.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
Even Gimli is going like, these are no mere orcs that are coming here. These are Uruk-hai. Yeah. They have thick armor and they're trained, like they're big. They're But then when he sees them, he's like, I can literally kill them all.
17, 18, 19.
Yeah. The way that he treats them is like, I could take this whole army by myself. That's true. Where it's like, before they show up, there's a whole scene in the armory where Legolas is like, these people can't. Yeah, they're gonna lose.
He's like lost hope. Yeah.
Everyone's gonna die here. Yeah. But then when they're fighting, it's like, why would you? The way that you guys fight, why would you ever feel threatened by anything? Yeah. They fight like superheroes fighting mortals. Fighting insects. Like, they treat these giant hulking Uruk-hai beasts like all it takes is just like one hit of my sword to And I feel like there's a little more peril maybe in Fellowship, and you talked about how your son liked Two Towers a little bit more. Yes. And I think growing up I liked Two Towers and Return of the King more because they just had longer, bigger, cooler action sequences. Yeah. Yeah. But it's like, as cool as it is when Legolas surfs down the stairs on the shield, it's also like one of those things where it's like you're pushing it. You're pushing right up against it.
Yeah, they absolutely. And I think, again, we talked about it on last time with Fellowship. Peter Jackson he's a little bit goofy. Mm-hmm. Like, he does things a little bit B movie
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing. It actually works really, really well for this movie. It just somehow works. And that is the part that's like, it's just kind of like, okay, yeah, like but it does make it fun. Like
when I was a kid, I loved it.
I loved it.
I thought
and
it was the coolest
still
thing
is like
ever.
cool. Like, oh wow, but I'm also like, yeah, that's a little weird.
Yeah, like the
But,
stuff
like,
that I love is like there's I both love this shot and it's always looked weird to me. I love the shot when they're traveling to Helm's Deep and Legolas is watching like the horde come up over the hill and he's shooting from like a long distance, like that slow motion shot of him like phew, phew, like but then it gets really weird when the CG grabbing the horse
and he's like he like goes the opposite way that I thought he should be going.
Always, the mechanics of it, the physics of it. It seems like what he should do is go the other way, and it feels like he swings the wrong way, and his arm like gets weirdly long, and like
even my sons pointed that out. They're like, that was a little weird. Yeah, it's like, yeah.
I always thought that, and I think the reason why it's weird is because it goes from a live action shot of Orlando Bloom and it's a pretty seamless transition.
Looks pretty good compared
for the it's a seamless transition from a live action shot to this CGI shot.
Yeah,
but the CGI shot is weird. And it always had the physics of it, the mechanics of it. And I think it's meant to look what he just did.
Yeah.
It's meant to look cool. But that's some of that stuff that like, it just pushes. But I do like him just slinging these like slow-mo, I love when he shoots the ladder down, when he just shoots the rope out. And I love when we get like his pinpoint accuracy,
it is funny though. He shoots the guy who's got which doesn't have any armor on. Also, I'm kind of, and he shoots him in the neck both times, and he doesn't get him. Why does that like? That couldn't you have had him like? Where's Legolas? He's the only one who can shoot this guy, and like, we got to get him up, and he gets up and he shoots, and he barely misses it as he jumps in the hole. Like I've always kind of been like, why? Legolas is the best. And this guy has no armor, and he's in a very visible spot that he could shoot him.
That's what I'm saying is I feel like the film's a little bit just sort of change the rules based on whatever from moment to moment. Yeah. And sometimes it's even like tonally too. Mm-hmm. Like the tonal balance is stronger, I think, in Fellowship with the moments of levity and humor from Merry and Pippin and stuff. And they feel like they land at the right places, and the comedy doesn't. So like when Gandalf dies, for instance, in the Mines of Moria, we don't like take a moment for Merry and Pippin to be like, well, what's everyone so sad about? We don't have some quip. We're going back and forth a lot in the Battle of Helm's Deep between the terror of the people of Rohan and the king of Theoden realizing like what he's gotten himself into and what he's led his people to. Lines like so much death, what can men do against such reckless hate? Lines like that, and lines like, don't tell the dwarf you tossed me. We're going every time we're with like Aragorn and Legolas and Gimli, they're just goofing off. They're surfs up, like down the stairs and just having a great time. But then also, like the elf captain that dies and Aragorn has a moment to have a really serious, and I'm like, I don't think there's time for this, A.
And it doesn't land.
And B, like tonally, we're going back and forth too much between trying to have fun little moments with the trio of superheroes and serious moments about what's going on here, that like we're losing the battle. Yeah. And I think this is where Peter Jackson maybe needs to rein himself in a little bit and trust that like it's okay to just let this be more serious. And I even have an issue like up to like the end of the film when Gandalf shows up and saves the day, that everyone's sort of like looking off into the distance, smiling at the end of the film and being like, we did it. And I'm like, everyone just died. Like there are like 5% of the people that you walked to Helm's Deep with are left.
Yeah.
And Theoden should be devastated. Everyone should be devastated. Like, thank goodness the Rohirrim showed up and saved the day. Yeah. But the tone shouldn't be so like looking off into the distance like, we did it.
We did it.
I think, and again, I'm being so nitpicky here.
Yes.
These are
these are the things that when you think about it, it's kind of, it doesn't mesh as well as Fellowship of the Ring does, but they are things. I mean, I think the other problem too is that the battle is like 49 minutes or something. It's really, really long, and it works. This is another nitpick, but I'm also like, man, this battle is taking forever.
It's a very impressive set piece. I mean,
it's absolutely impressive, and it does work, but it also is like, this time watching it, I was kind of like, okay, I'm kind of feeling the length of this, because
me too.
They have to have whole sections where they kind of break away from it, and it gets felt a little bit.
Well, but also I think having Legolas and Aragorn and Gimli be so like the stakes are constantly going up and down. Yeah. It's like when Aragorn, injured on his horse, rides up on that hill and sees the 10,000 Uruk-hai coming, you feel that oh man. And then the build up to the battle is also really good tonally. Yes. The talking to this young boy, let me see your sword. Yeah. This is a good sword. Trying to give the people hope. The Aragorn and Legolas having their moment in the armory. Great. And then in the battle, we're doing all this stuff that's we're trying to have little quips, but especially Legolas and Gimli, they're just having a great time. They're just, even Legolas throwing the rope down to Aragorn and Gimli and being like, Aragorn, and just I'm just kind of we're undercutting the stakes of how serious this is.
Right.
And it because it's so long, it's hard to stay locked into. And like you said, it's if we're going to one moment show that we can shoot them in the weak part of their armor and hit them with one arrow in the neck and drop them to the ground immediately, and then the next minute show that some of them with no armor at all can take several arrows straight to the throat and keep running, it's sort of you got to pick one. Yeah. And again, that's my problem with you establish these Uruk-hai as legitimate foes, as formidable opponents.
Oh, yeah.
Even for Aragorn and Gimli and Legolas, the way that they talk about them, the way that they build them up. But then once they show up, they're like, oh no, this is this is swatting flies. Yeah. And it's well, which one is it? It's got,
It is. And, but I mean, to be a little bit of, this isn't really devil's advocate, but counterpoint, I guess.
Sure.
Thinking about it, if it was the same length and if it was all one, if they did what we talked about, where you kind of make the stakes a little bit more, you would have to make it shorter.
And I think that's not bad.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a little bit shorter.
A 30-minute sequence instead of a 50-minute sequence.
Right. And that's, but also I think having those changes in tone and having some of the fun stuff, it honestly does pull you through. So, and like we said, these are nitpicks.
Totally.
This movie, honestly, we're getting into the points that we've kind of seen this time. But even still, I mean, it took them 4 months to just film this sequence.
And as a feat, as a technical feat of filmmaking,
insane.
when you're thinking about the mapping of the bigature that they used, versus with the I was constantly watching the sequence going okay, what's a real set and what's the bigature,
and what's not,
and what are they superimposed onto, and the real sets that they have are all incredible.
Oh, and I was telling my sons, I was like, this is real.
Yeah.
And to the parts that were real, this is, and they're
the throne room's real.
Yeah.
Parts of the wall are real.
Yep.
That bridge is real, part of it. The gate part is that's a real facade that they built. The city, the original city, where is those are all, they built that.
Yeah.
And that's those establishing shots of that city. Beautiful. Are so stunning,
so beautiful,
and
you can tell the craft that goes into all of this. It pays off because it is such an amazing sequence. And then you look at again the Hobbit, and the Battle of the Five Armies is probably what you could compare to that, right? Compare to Helm's Deep, but there's so much less that's tangible that I just kind of glaze over. But
there's so much that's tangible in this.
Yes. That's what keeps me engaged. And everything I'm looking at, I'm just I can't believe they did this.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing feat that they went to the trouble of doing all that.
Yeah.
And the fact that they did it for the budget that they did, it's absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah, I was talking with my friend today. He was talking to me about the movie The Abyss and like the lengths that they went to, and he was just kind of like, he's like, we were talking about movies that he was like, I can't believe they made it the way that they made it. I can't believe they did that. And he was like, what other things do you think are like that? And I was like, well, we're doing The Lord of the Rings right now.
Yeah.
On the show, and this is absolutely one of those things that's just like, we've already talked about that, but just they don't make them like this anymore, and they never really did before. No. But like other things that I think of are like the chariot race from the 1959 Ben-Hur, where you're just watching that going, they just did this. Yeah. They just shot a chariot race with like 10 actual chariots being pulled by 4 horses each, running full speed, and it's actually Charlton Heston driving the and I'm like, because they can't cheat it, so the camera gets in there on these close-ups and it's like, that's Charlton Heston. Yeah, they can't superimpose his face onto a stuntman in 1955, and it's just mind-boggling. Yeah, and that's how this feels. It doesn't just feel like a big CGI slugfest. It feels like you are seeing so many close-ups of real actors wearing real makeup, real armor, real fight choreography. Yep. Even the explosion is real.
It is. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And it makes a difference. I mean, we talked about Avatar. I'll bring Avatar up again. But like huge battle sequences in that movie that I just don't. It's like, okay, cool. That's very cool animation. This is just real with CGI. I don't even know, CGI help, right? Like,
I would honestly be like, if you're a person who liked Fire and Ash, that's fine. Whatever, you're allowed to like things. If you liked Way of Water, tell me your favorite part from the third act, hour-long action scene. Tell me your favorite moment. Like, what's the coolest thing that happens? And that I can tell, as much as we're being nitpicky here, I can tell you beat for beat everything that happens in the Helm. From the old guy accidentally shooting the first arrow. Yeah, and I can tell you every little insert of the Urukai that when they're yelling, and that one that's got the really big jaw. Yeah, he's like, and those are just great shots because you watch it and go like, that's an actor in makeup doing that, but it looks like an actual monster. Yeah, it does not look like actors wearing makeup. Like the Urukai and also the orcs. Like the scene early on with Merry and Pippin, the orc makeup. Them. They're fresh. They're fresh. What about their legs?
Their legs.
I don't need those.
That guy. Iconic. I wrote it down. I was like, that guy's makeup
iconic.
Whoever that guy is, he is burned into my brain. Every time he comes up, I'm like, it's that guy. Oh. And he looks so good in the way that he talks and his eyes. The performance that he gives in that, absolutely amazing.
I never watch these films and see an actor wearing makeup. I am fully transfixed, formed into being like, you hired an orc to be in this movie.
How'd you find that guy?
It's like you watch we did Ninja Turtles on the. It's like it's Jim Henson stuff. It's puppets, but it's like and you suspend your disbelief and just go like, I'll pretend that
looks great.
But I see these Urukai actors and I'm like, I can't imagine a human being under that.
I know.
I can't.
It's crazy.
It just looks so real, and the sound design that they do for when they yell just gives so much. But those inserts of them breathing through their masks,
it's really
and the way that they establish atmosphere, surfs up down the stairs,
seriously
fighting on the bridge, 17, 18, 19. I can tell you so many moments. Ride out with me.
Yeah.
Ride out and meet them. Yeah. And if you asked me to tell you what the coolest part of the third act of either one of the second or third Avatar movie is, I can't tell you.
I don't know.
Can't tell you a single thing.
I can't either.
Can't tell you a single thing.
I can't really but that's what's so amazing about this movie. Yeah. And these are just little things. These are little things that I think it's good to talk about because it doesn't take away from the movie. No. The movie is still good. You'll see, especially with our scores, right? You'll see how much we really love this movie. But the other thing that there's a few things I noticed on this one. I think what we should talk about right now is Gollum. Yep.
So we've talked about we know what the handsome warrior boys get up to in this one. What about our little guys? And we absolutely need to talk about Andy Serkis because I mean, I don't know about you, but like this was the element on this watch through that I was the most just like, my goodness, like is some of the animation maybe a little dated?
Yeah,
sure, absolutely, but is some of it also still very impressive?
Oh yeah, it's funny because it varies.
It varies
because on this one I was like, okay, it's not as good as I remember. But it never takes me out of the story to where I'm like, oh, that just looks horrible.
No.
There's some that I'm like, man, that looks super good. Like when they go close in, I'm amazed at
the performance capture is so impressive.
So good. Yep.
The facial expressions.
Yeah.
You know, it's like maybe we're not getting the details that we get in, say, Dawn of Planet of the Apes. We're not getting all the little, but like. And it's all credit to Andy Serkis.
Oh, absolutely.
What he gives the animators to work with his face and his voice is so invaluable.
And Smeagol and the Gollum exchange,
that sequence is
incredible.
And the way it's edited is brilliant.
It's so amazing because like, and my sons were even like, it's like they were amazed by it too, just because it's like you start out and he's here and then he's there. And then he's here, and then it cuts from there to there, and you just fill it in your mind. And they were like, "Oh wow, that was interesting, right?" Like it's like, yeah, you get it. I'm like, he's got two personalities, so he's talking to himself.
He's almost got three. It's like Smeagol, Gollum, and Precious.
Yeah,
but Precious is not him. No. But they're always talking to Precious.
They are, yeah. But it's just absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, it really. Thank goodness that they had Andy Serkis be able to do that. I mean, I don't know if that was the plan from the very beginning, but I mean, this really, like... Watching
it as an adult and thinking of Gollum as a heroin addict and thinking of Gollum as which is Andy Serkis's inspiration for the character, not only did I feel the most, like, empathy and sympathy for that character I've ever felt, but, like, it gave me a whole new layer to the brilliance of his performance.
Absolutely.
And I don't think as a kid I could fully appreciate or understand the connection between Frodo and Smeagol.
I totally got that. And I was trying to tell my sons too, like, you know, like he knows what he's going through, so he's trying to save him. And Sam just can't get it. Yeah. And like Frodo understands, and I don't know if they totally got it because they're 12 and 10.
Yep.
But I think they got a little bit, and it was so I was the exact same. Like I totally understood why Frodo was trying to save Gollum.
Yep.
Because if Gollum can be saved, he can be saved.
Yep.
Like he needs to save him. It's not just like, oh, I'm taking pity on this horrible person. It's that's me. Like that's and the fact that he is a hobbit too, that he was a hobbit, right? Like it's crazy.
I think that as a younger person, I thought it was kind of annoying that Frodo like insists on bringing Gollum along.
I felt the same.
And I thought that it was just Frodo being like,
oh, he's a good person.
Or deceived by the ring, like the ring's tricking him into, or something. But it literally is that, and Frodo gets offended by Sam's treatment of Gollum, not because, again, as a younger person, I was like, when Frodo's like, why do you do that? Why do you talk to him like that? I was like, don't you get Frodo? Because I know where the story's going. I'm like, I know that Gollum's going to betray them. Yeah. And I was like, why don't you get it? But seeing it as myself a recovered addict and all of this stuff, I was like, Frodo's when Sam insults Gollum, Frodo feels like Sam's insulting him too.
Exactly.
And so it's kind of like, hey man, you don't know.
Yeah.
Like you have no idea what it's like to carry this thing.
Yeah.
And
which we're totally on the same page because it was like it hit me so much harder on this one. Like, wow, and it was so much deeper. But also I really, really appreciate the fact that they never have Sam take the ring until I think he takes it for a second in the third one, right? Yeah. But they never have him take the ring because in the books,
share the load.
In the books, Sam does take it and puts it on at certain times.
Yeah.
Like and to me, I thought it was such a brilliant choice that they're like, no, Frodo has to take it and Sam never does, and it really does go into their whole, not trilogy, their whole relationship,
Right.
Their triangle of relationship that Sam doesn't really know what it is, but he loves Frodo.
Their triad.
Yeah, yeah, thank you, triad. It just felt so much deeper and so much like more relatable now. I could understand, like, oh yeah, Frodo, he has to save Gollum because that's himself. He's seeing himself in there, but he loves Sam, and Sam loves him but doesn't quite understand. And then Gollum it's really great.
He doesn't understand that what has happened to Gollum is happening to Frodo.
Yes.
And he can't see it, obviously, because Frodo still looks like a hobbit.
Yeah.
But Frodo knows that, like, and you know, we talk about it in the screenplay too, where he's like, you can't take your eyes off it. You're hardly sleeping. You're hardly eating.
Yeah.
And he's talking to Frodo. He's saying, like, I see you. Like, and we see this at night that Frodo's just looking at it. And, and it's literally like someone telling a person, like, you need to get addicted to heroin for the fate of the world, you know, hangs in the balance. And it's like, well, what if I can't get off of it? It's like,
I know
you gotta do your best.
Dude, that's good. That's a really,
you know,
that's crazy.
And like that's what he is asked of him.
Yeah.
Is that he has to basically destroy his physical and psychological health. And,
man,
you know,
that's cool. That's so
like, and it gives me also like a greater appreciation of the challenge that Elijah Wood had which he'd never done anything even close to that difficult in his life as an actor up to this point. And I used to be harder on him than I am now.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason why I was harder on his performance than I needed to be is because I didn't understand his performance.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know, I didn't understand his character.
I think too, this one, and I mean, I'm excited to see Return of the King, but this might be his best performance in the of the three because of that, and because of this new appreciation that we have for this. I was, you know, it's a lot more. It's even more heartbreaking.
It's interesting how this is a tangent.
Yeah.
But how because I think a lot of people are critical of Elijah Wood in these films. If they're critical of anything.
Yeah.
How not fully understanding what an actor is doing or the choices that they're making can make you think that they're not doing a good job.
Yeah.
Because they're maybe doing something weird or like, I think people like make fun of sometimes like the faces that he makes where he'll be like,
yeah,
you know, but it's like, if you don't understand fully what he's going for, then it might be like, why is he doing that? You know, my example, this is my tangent. I went and saw Michelle Williams, who I think is one of the best living actors.
She's amazing.
I saw her in a play on Broadway with Jeff Daniels.
Cool.
Two-hander called Blackbird. It was amazing watching the two of them because they're two fantastic actors.
Yeah.
And for the first like 45 minutes of the play, I was like, is she bad? Like because sometimes film actors, it's a whole different skill to do it on stage.
Yes.
And I was like, maybe she just doesn't have, like, she doesn't know like what her body's doing when I can see her whole body, you know, because it's a different thing acting from here up to, because she had a hard time like planning her feet and delivering. She was very like she kept like shifting
Unsettled.
her weight and and so I was like, is she a bad stage actor? And I was confused.
Yeah. And
once this thing happened in the script that made me understand what she was doing and what choice she was making, and it was that she had to pee. No, I'm just kidding. I was like, oh, good.
Oh, that's a good one. I got it.
No, but it was that because of things that happened in this story, she's emotionally stunted and she's like stuck at the age of 12 emotionally. And I didn't know that but once I understood why she was doing it the way she was doing it, I was like, oh, so she's one of the best actors I've ever seen. Because once I knew what she was going for, I was like, oh, she's kind of nailing it. And without understanding what she was trying to do, I thought, oh, is she kind of weird or awkward? And I think if you don't get that this dynamic between Gollum and Frodo and what is happening to like sweet innocent Frodo Baggins of the Shire in this trilogy, that what is being asked of him and what is being put on him, if you don't fully understand what Elijah Wood's going for then you could maybe be like, oh, he's a little bland, or he's, you know, a little
It really it's, I mean, this is all acting, which is I have such an appreciation for actors just because it's I could never do it. I could never do what you do. It's very hard to do. But yeah, I think this is a very good example that when you don't understand what they're doing, it doesn't really land for you. But then when you get a perspective of why they did what they did or the reason that they're doing it, then that's when you're like, oh yeah, that and this movie, like, oh yeah, I just thought he was just being super nice. Like when I was a kid, like, well, he's just a good guy. They're just trying to show that he's a good guy.
Like he's naive.
Yeah,
like
they're just trying to show that he's really, really good. He's the one to do it, right? Now I'm like, no, he has to do it. That's him. That's a shadow of himself.
Yeah, even just that he's so focused on the ring, he doesn't see it. Right. But it's like, no, it's both. Like he is very consumed by the ring, but he knows. Like there's some part of him, and this, like, addicts know this too, that like they can see it happening. Like they're aware just like everybody else is in their life. And that's the hard thing, is like knowing that you're sliding down that thing and watching yourself do it and not being able to pull out. Like not being able to like pull out of the tailspin.
Yeah.
And the fact that not only it's not that he just like is like, I can't stop doing, it's like that, like he's not allowed to until the job is done.
Yeah.
And that I don't know. And then I just think obviously the Smeagol Gollum scene, but even the scene when Faramir is interrogating when Gollum comes back. Like first of all, I love the way that Frodo almost does save Smeagol, and he brings Smeagol back for a while. And Gollum, I mean, Smeagol for the first time in centuries gets to like breathe a little bit. Like not having the ring and being treated with respect for the first time, like he has real peace, you know? It's not like the whole time he's being like secretly, I'm going to feed them to Shelob. He genuinely has affection for Frodo. Yeah. And it's when he feels betrayed by him that Gollum comes back, and you know.
I know it is, and this one, it was the fact, and when Andy Serkis, I mean, all he's doing is crying, like in that scene when they grab him, you know, and he's like, Frodo just can't cry. Yeah. Like it was, I don't know, it was also way more powerful this time watching it.
It's heartbreaking when you know that like Smeagol was almost free, that he was almost like seeing him play down in the water and having just fun. And it's like, I don't actually think that Smeagol has had fun like that and been carefree like that in a very, very, very long time. Yeah. And the thing about Gollum is Gollum's the fiend. Gollum's the one that just craves the drug, that just wants to get back on smack. Yeah. And it's so sad and heartbreaking to see Smeagol have this moment of lucidity and freedom. Yeah. Only to get sucked back into.
Like right at the right time is when. Yeah. It's great. It's very interesting. Yeah. On this watch. And to kind of change gears for a little bit, the other thing that I noticed on this watch is the king. Oh my goodness, who's the king? What's his name? Theoden. Yeah. I really, really loved Theoden's story in this one. And the actor, I'm sorry, I don't remember his name.
He's the captain in
Titanic.
In Titanic.
I
love we talked about this in Fellowship. I just love the way that all of these actors buy in so much.
Oh, absolutely.
The buy-in from this character. Also, I love what's his name, Dorff, Bradley Dorff, or Stephen.
Steve. Is it Stephen Dorff?
No, not Stephen Dorff.
Because it's Chucky.
Yeah, and it's he's in Alien Resurrection as well.
What is his name?
I think it's like Brad
Dourif.
Brad Dourif. I love him as Kramer Wormtongue. Oh he's my goodness, what a great, just like little featured
Brad Dourif.
The scene. How cool is the scene with Saruman? But no such force exists, my lord. You know, and then when they walk out, the
crying.
single tear, but also that shot, the cinematography of that shot.
Oh,
when they walk
so
out
cool.
and the camera is panning back and forth, is
so
awesome.
So good.
And the lighting and like it's so good.
Oh, it's every and okay, Bernard Hill, that's his name. Theoden, the king. He does just an awesome job. Like, and I really loved just the fact of like him. I mean, he's been taken over by Saruman, right? And he's like, I love the makeup. I love everything that they do. I love when he laughs, you know, and he's like, and then he comes back and that simple just transition that they do. that's super effective.
That's an effect that like really holds up.
It does.
So really,
and all they did was they had him like he did the same movements.
Yep.
In various makeup.
Yep.
And then they stitched it all together and they made it more seamless, but a more practical
I love that effect every time I watch it.
Oh, I love it too. And just like, but then the fact that he's lost his son, he's lost most of his kingdom, like everything is coming down on him. Everything is coming to get him. And just like the weight of his people and Legolas and Aragorn, all of them are saying like, no, we've got to do this. And he's like, no, like, we can't do that. Like,
I just love how much bigger the world gets in this movie.
Totally.
That it's like we thought we explored a lot of that we in Fellowship. Yep. That it's like we went to Rivendell and we went to Moria and we went across mountain ranges and all these things. But when we show up and they're like we're in Rohan, it's like we're where? Yeah. It's like the land of the horse lords, and it's like and this is a whole other country, like miles and miles and miles of and that this guy is the king of and. Yeah. It's a whole other place, and that's why I'm like, I think the actual title, like this movie's about Rohan.
Yeah, it is.
It's about
they're the key for sure.
Yeah. I also like the practical horse riding stuff in Fellowship with Arwen running from the wraiths. I love this shot early on of the Rohirrim running down this field and Aragorn going like ride or something, Rohirrim, what, and then them all turning around. Yeah, it is so awesome. Cool. It's so awesome, and I just love I love Keith Urban in this.
Oh yeah,
and,
he's awesome.
Keith Urban? No.
Yeah, Keith Urban.
That made me think I was of
wait, no,
Keith Urban is
Carl Urban.
Because I was like, Keith Urban is Nicole Kidman's,
the singer.
He's Nicole Kidman's ex-husband.
Yes. He's the country singer from Australia. Sorry.
Carl
Urban.
Our apologies to Carl Urban and Carl Urban stans in the audience.
Sorry, apologies. And then the greatest thing about these stories is how much story there is to everything and how much history there is to everything. I mean, obviously J.R.R. Tolkien did so much work on these. So it's hard on first viewing because my boys were asking me like, well, who's Gondor? And like I had to remind them of who Gondor was. But when the king gets mad, when Aragorn suggests asking Gondor for help, and like,
where was Gondor?
Yeah, and the performance on that is like, there's so much history in this that like.
He just feels like a real person who has lived a whole life as king of that kingdom.
And he's got his own biases, his own frustrations.
And he's coming into the movie late in his storyline, but you feel the history of the character in the performance.
Absolutely.
And you feel that with Éowyn. You feel that with, you just feel like this is a proud people. Yeah. And it's a proud country. And I feel like the stakes, like we talked earlier about the stakes and how, like the amount of comedy that we're injecting into things feels like it plays with the stakes, especially with our three main hero era. Yeah. But we get all of the weight from him and his performance from Theoden, and the way that he responds to, even like when they come back from the fight in the on the trail, and Éowyn's like, "So few have returned," and he's like, our people are safe, but like but you can feel that every lost life for him is a big deal as a king. Yeah. And that's again why I have a little bit of an issue with the ending of them all being, but I get it to a certain extent that he thought it was curtains. He thought it was,
he thought they were all going to die.
Cause I also like when Aragorn goes ride out with me and he goes, oh, for death, for glory. And he's like, no, like, let's go out there and also, Aragorn is like, have you seen me out there, dude? Like,
do you know who I am? I'm the main character.
Have you been watching? No, ride out with me. Just like get behind me, man. Like we're gonna be fine.
We'll be okay. I can't die. I'm the main character.
If it's me and Legolas and Gimli's gonna blow a horn, we didn't even need to be there. Like, just like get between me and Legolas, you won't die.
You won't die. Trust me. Trust me.
I promise you.
Just just right behind me, back to back. You'll be fine,
buddy. Have you been watching? I've literally killed like 3,000 of them by myself.
That is, and I think you're totally right. The ending is like there's a ton of weight, but I think they do it the right way because it's like there is hope. There's some people that are left. There is some hope for everything to work out. And I think that's what they were going for, even though it is kind of like, oh yeah, you just lost like everybody.
Yeah. The Rohirrim coming down the hill is dope. It's awesome.
Super sweet.
Effects wise, it's a little it's a little old school, but it's still just like the composition of it and
so good.
is just it's kind of a shot like that early shot with them falling through the cavern where it's just like it's one of those storyboarded moments that they knew they had.
Yep.
They knew exactly what they wanted to do and they knew what they it's like they're even building up to it in the script of like look for me at sunrise on the fifth day,
which is funny because like Gandalf, I never realized about this one. He comes back and they're so excited and like oh, you're not dead, and then they go, which is a cool it's great too. I love when he comes in and he's got his staff. He's like, I told you to take his staff, right? And like he comes in,
Gandalf Stormcrow.
Yeah, but like then he's gone. And he's not there anymore.
Yeah. But
I'm kind of like, I want to see Gandalf. But it's not a bad thing.
I like that we get some cool moments from him. I do. And then I do like him up on top of the hill, just like...
He's probably so happy that he didn't have to film that whole thing in Helm's Deep.
Yeah, that you got a 4-month break.
Ian McKellen was probably like, oh, thank goodness.
But also, like, we get some... I think Gandalf's, like, coolest moments are in the next movie. Yeah.
And he is like, it's just funny that we got him back and then he's gone.
Yeah.
And then we get him back. But it's really not a bad thing. It's just kind of something I noticed on this one. Like, I thought Gandalf was a bigger part in this. And he's a big part, but he's not in it that much.
There's one other storyline that we haven't covered that we should do really quickly. And it's just Merry and Pip. It's
the Ent, the tree beard.
And that's a storyline in this movie that's just, it is the part, it's like, it needs to be in there.
It does.
But it is just sort of like, and I think Treebeard is very funny and entertaining.
Love Treebeard.
And isn't this John Rhys
Davies?
Just doubling up?
He is.
I think that's so fun. And
it's awesome.
His vocal performance as Treebeard is great.
It's kind of crazy how long I didn't know that was John Rhys Davies.
Yeah, I was like, I was like, who does he sound like? And I was like, oh yeah, that's right, he played both.
Yep.
But I also I love. It doesn't make any sense. Then again, you are very small. Such a good line.
Yeah.
But I do think, even though it's part of the character that he speaks very slowly, sometimes these scenes with Treebeard, it's kind of like, all right, okay.
It is. Yeah, and even in the books, he's so that's the whole point, and I get it. They stay true to it, but it is they played with it, and I actually John Rhys Davies said it was one of the hardest characters for him to play because of that fact. Like he's eternally slow, but you also have to have him fast for the screen. Like how do you make it work? They make it work. I love how he looks. It is kind of a funny like. They spend all this time like, oh, we're not going to do anything, and then it all Pippin's like, oh, take us over to Mordor or take us over to Isengard, and then he sees it and they're just like, oh, we're going to kill everybody now.
That's the big thing with that storyline is it pays off.
It does.
Like, it's good that we spend the time sort of lollygagging around with the Ents because right when you think like, well, what was that all about? They do have a great sequence. Like
they do.
This. And again, animation wise, the mixture of practical stuff with the really works here. Like it just shows, again, going back to Avatar, that it's like, if you can make some of this stuff in camera, it like the fact that most of that environment is in camera and it's just like the trees that are animated helps so much to sell it.
It really does.
And keeping it wide too, like the choice to do these big long wide shots of like to show the scale of the Ents versus it's just it's a really fun, cool sequence.
Cool. It's really great, and I like it all works out. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we should. I mean, I love too the tree that's on fire.
Love it. Classic.
And he's always like, again, his head in the water.
Again, going to like, tell me your favorite moment from the third act of Avatar. And I'm like, I can tell you, like, tree with his head on fire, sticking his head. I know all of these moments. I know.
And I love the physics of it too. Like, and again, this is a ton of CGI, but they do like when they get hit by the water and the fact that they're trees and all the orcs just getting pummeled by all these like things. Like, and they're just like, oh, so good, man.
Yeah. It's awesome.
And the fear that's on Saruman's face. It's like the performance by Christopher Lee. Obviously, he's one of the best actors. Like it's done so well.
I will say that, and I get why it's cut, but if we were gonna keep anything from the extended edition, it would be seeing him die, because it is sort of like he's a main villain of the and just to sort of have that off screen be like he's done. He's done. We're never going to see him again. He's done.
And is that in the third one?
I think in the third one, maybe we see.
I can't remember which one.
In one of the extended editions, we do see the death of Saruman.
Because doesn't he jump out
or something like that?
Something,
I'm like, I think we could keep.
I agree,
and I think
that's probably important.
I think it should probably happen just in this sequence. Like, it should be, even if you have to change something from the book, where it's like, like he goes out on his balcony and he's looking, and Treebeard just like throws a rock, and it just like hits the tower and just just breaks the
something
just completely annihilates him.
Yeah, I think you're right with that. But yeah, that's probably was a
like where like he's distracted and he just doesn't see it, because like how often do you get to kill a magic guy like that, where you're just like, I'm just gonna smash you like a bug, like I'm just gonna smash you with a boulder.
That would be good. Would be good.
Yeah. Anyway, that's kind of that movie.
I know. It's really, those are the biggest things.
I'll also say the stuff with Arwen, I'm glad it's in there.
Yeah.
Because
I think it's good to keep her there.
It's just that it does kind of move slow for how long this movie is. And it's kind of like, okay, all right.
I know, it's funny because like they had the pacing that they have is really good. Yeah. Because it is appropriate. Yeah. Honestly, if you were to get rid of anything, I'd get rid of the, what are they called? Bog, or the like dog scene where Aragorn, it's funny because it is a way to get Arwen in there, but that whole thing, I don't think it was in the books. I think they just needed an action sequence and they kind of had it. Honestly, if you could kind of take that out, it honestly might have moved a little bit better.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Small. I don't think that we actually, because it's like, again, we do this thing too where it's like, well, Aragorn almost dies and there's there's just false death.
Nothing really happens.
But then it's also like, he doesn't even have to like really recover.
Yeah,
like he gets on that horse, and then by the time he's back to Helm's Deep, he's like, well, I'm back. Like, he's just like,
let's kick some butt.
It's like when James Bond gets shot off that train in, what is it, Skyfall? And it's like it takes him like a year to get back to it. Yeah. And Aragorn's like, it looks like he's like 90% dead when he gets pulled out of the water, and then it's just sort of like, don't worry, I'll be fine once, like after a few days ride. And it's like, I don't think that's how that works. I don't think you just heal by riding your horse for a day or two.
And I mean, like, I get it.
Yeah.
Arwen comes in and like it ties in thematically with all that, but I think they probably could have brought her in still with getting rid of that scene, and I think it might have moved it just a little bit more. But just a little nitpick. Honestly, it doesn't make the biggest deal. It's still great, and
it's great.
The dog thing. It's a fun sequence too.
Yeah,
like it is actually.
It is fun, but and we get a really weird CGI shot of Legolas jumping onto a horse, swinging himself in a weird direction onto a horse. Okay, that's the Two Towers. We're going to get into our scores. We score things out of 10, 10 being the best. We give a score for technical, the technical rating. That's all the technical stuff, writing, effects, cinematography. We give a score for the ending. We give a score for rewatchability. We give a score for cultural impact and relevance. And we give our subjective scores. So, Kramer, technical rating for the Two Towers.
My technical rating is a 10.
Okay.
I mean, everything works. These nitpicks, it just also like, it all works still. Mm-hmm. It all works. And it works so much better than so many other movies that I feel like it has to be a 10 for me just because. Oh, we didn't even talk about the score again.
Yep.
The score is amazing.
The March of the Ents.
And the Rohirrim, the just like
it's so good.
Yeah. So like it's so good. And it also feels so distinct from the first movie.
It's so good.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
So I think just everybody's doing great. And these things that we talked about, I think still don't take away from the fact of how good the movie is overall.
I'm knocking it down to a 9 from a 10.
Okay.
Because these are my nitpicks. It's not that I don't have nitpicks for the first one. It's that for these ones, I'm like, I do think that some of this stuff hurts it just and it is technical stuff. It's just stuff where I'm like, this movie is called The Two Towers, and you're sort of reiterating information we already knew about the union of Saruman and Sauron to justify the title, but you already gave us that information in the first movie, so it's just sort of repeated information. But it's a movie about Theoden and Rohan and you know, and how they become folded into this mission to save Middle Earth and stuff. Little nitpicky things about as brilliant of a piece of filmmaking as that ending thing is. Some of the stuff of like, because it's so long, the playing with the stakes and stuff. But again, it's a 9. Everyone, calm down. All right. How about the ending?
The ending. Oh, gal. It's like I have it down as a 10 because this sequence and it almost goes in more to the technical side of things. Yeah. But I think emotionally, like, yes, again, these nitpicks, but it's very satisfying. It's a very satisfying ending, especially, I mean, again, these 3 movies are just amazing because each one stands on its own, but each one pulls from, bless you. I had to sneeze as well.
Yeah.
But the ending just is still so good all on its own. And I think comparing it to some other films, like it's still just like fits. It just is it's such a good ending for its own, but it's also leading into the Return of the King. Yeah. So I just feel like I got to give it a 10.
I really love the ending of this film. I'm giving it a 9 again.
That's all right. That's all right.
And it is just like some of that. Like I found myself this time. Maybe it's a 10 on a different watch for me.
Yeah.
But on this watch, I was like, the ending. It just feels like I want people to care a little bit more about how many people just died in that battle and how close they came to annihilation and what they're still up against.
Yeah.
And I feel it more from the ending of where Sam and Frodo end. Like everything that goes down with them and their finale in Osgiliath.
Yep.
I really feel the stakes of that. Also, like we didn't talk about one of my favorite shots in this whole movie, which is when they're in the marsh early on, and that zoom out of the Witch King on the Nazgul is when he's riding
the
and
thing.
Then we zoom. Yep. It's such a gosh,
so cool.
But because he comes back at the end of the film, and so I was like, But like that's such a great.
That is a great shot.
But also, I like the way the stakes where we leave the story with Frodo, Sam, and Gollum.
Yeah, and it makes it totally agree.
And it feels. I do like the way when we hit the credits that the tone is much more.
Yeah, like we're gonna take him to her,
and it's much the music and the tone is.
Yep.
You know, it's darker.
Yeah.
But the Gandalf being like, the battle for Helm's Deep has been won. The battle for Middle Earth. It just seems like everyone's like, here we. And I'm just like, I
get it.
Love Sirian. I feel like the delivery and everyone's faces kind of being like. I feel like the delivery should be like, well, we won that one, but
it's far from over.
We have a lot to do.
Right.
I feel like Gandalf the White is just a little more like smirky than Gandalf the Grey. Gandalf the Grey is a little.
It's true.
You know what I mean? Gandalf the Grey is a little more like, I don't know if I can do this, and Gandalf the White's like.
We got it in the bag, baby.
Yeah, don't worry, guys. Yeah.
I'm the White Wizard now.
Yeah. Anyway, rewatchability.
Yeah. Rewatchability, I gave it 10.
Yeah.
It's a great rewatch. And it can vary. It does vary. But I think on this one, because of what I got out of it this time, because of just being older and the Gollum and Frodo and Sam storyline and Theoden storyline, it just hit a lot harder. Yeah.
I was at a 9 and I'm going to bump it to a 9.5 because of how much I got out of that Frodo and Gollum dynamic. And because it's just like, this is something that anytime I watch it, I'm going to like really just be impressed by it and just find new stuff to like. But I think it went from a 10 down to a 9 because I was just like, I was finding myself like like I used to love that Battle of Helm's Deep, and now it was just kind of like, as impressive as a piece of filmmaking this, I just was sort of like, okay, come on, let's stop goofing around here and let's just,
right.
How about cultural impact?
Cultural impact, I gave it 10.
Yeah.
It's
only score you can do.
No, only score you can do.
Spoiler alert, for all 3 of these films.
It's a 10.
It's a 10 for cultural.
And it's just like, looking at it now, everything holds up. The visual effects hold up. Yeah. And they will continue to hold up and continue to be something that we can point to when something's a little too CGI heavy and be like, look at what they did with the Battle of Helm's Deep.
That's the interesting thing is I wish these films would have a bigger impact on the film industry.
Yeah.
I think they have a big impact on filmmakers. I think filmmakers want to make their movies like this, but the film industry didn't seem to learn the lesson that it's like audiences will.
Yeah.
I just, it's like, so we talk about cultural impact. It's like for the audiences and for young filmmakers and for people who were around when these movies came out in theaters, the impact can't be overstated.
Yeah.
But it is a little bit like, man, I wish the studios wanted to do stuff like this more often.
Right.
I wish that the impact was like, oh, that's how we should always do it.
Right.
Or that's the high watermark we should always be shooting for.
Right. Totally.
How about subjective score?
Okay. My subjective score.
Okay.
Is a 9.9. It's just down a little bit because of those nitpicks. And also it's going to be interesting. I might need to change this because my favorite has kind of always been The Fellowship. And this is just a little, I still like Fellowship just a little bit more than this one. But it's still so close. So I loved it. It's so many great things, especially with that deepening of that relationship and those relationships. It's really good. But those nitpicks are just a little bit, less in the movie a little bit than Fellowship.
I'm going down to 9.5.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Fair.
And it's all the stuff we talked about. But again, you can't say enough good things about these movies and the production design, the cinematography, the score, the directing, the editing. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Okay.
It's amazing.
I think we're watching Scream 7. I say it like that because it's like I don't think we don't really want to, but that's what we're watching. If you want to watch along with the show, the interesting thing to talk about here is like we talked about this beforehand. So if you want to watch along with next week's episode, that's what we're watching. Scream 7. It's in theaters right now. Is like slasher franchises.
Yeah.
This is a really big thing that they're like, if you find a good slasher killer like Michael Myers or Ghostface or Chucky or Jason or Freddy, they think, let's make 20 of these. But the problem is it's like, do these IPs really lend themselves to that many iterations?
I know.
And it feels like all of them show fatigue after 3 films, usually after 2. Like most of them, it's like Halloween 1 and Halloween 2 are good, and almost immediately it starts showing fatigue by 3. Same with the Scream franchise. Yeah. It's just like it's just a fascinating thing that
it is.
Hollywood seems committed to being like, if you got a good one, because these movies make money.
They do. And this one's making a ton.
Yeah. So, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna see what's working, what's not working.
See how it goes.
The critics are being hard on it so far, so we'll see how we feel.
Audiences are liking it, I think, or at least watching it.
And maybe we will.
Who knows? Low expectations.
Yeah.
Lowered expectations.
I am. Mad TV.
Yeah.
Mad TV.
I'm so glad you remember that.
Mad TV. Oh, yeah. Lowered expectations.
Dude, it was always Mad TV and Saturday Night Live. And on Sunday at church, we'd always talk about it.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Lowered expectations.
Yeah. Listen, everybody thinks that the era they grew up in was the best era of Saturday Night Live. Yeah. But we grew up with Will Ferrell, Anna Gasteyer, Jimmy Fallon,
Tina Fey.
You kidding me?
Yeah.
And then who followed them up was like Seth Meyers and friggin' Bill Hader and Fred Armisen and like that.
All these people.
That stretch. Are you kidding me?
It's crazy.
And we also had Mad TV on TV, and Mad TV was good. Okay?
Mad TV was good.
Aries Spears.
Aries
Jordan Peele, ever heard of him?
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Jordan Peele was, and Keegan-Michael Key, I think we're both on.
I think they were. They were more near the end, but yeah. Oh man, they had some great skits. Stuart.
Yeah.
Stuart. Yeah. And like all the stuff. Will Sasso.
Yeah.
Will Sasso was great.
Yeah. Anyway, I am a big fan of the Scream franchise, and so I haven't thought that a Scream movie has been good in a long time. And I still go to see all of them. Yeah. So we'll see, what we think here. But that's next week. If you want to watch along with the show, comment, like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.